In a derby day that was full of high stakes, with Arsenal fighting for the title and Spurs top 4, Mikel Arteta's men asserted dominance, making it 3 wins on the bounce in what was a weird old game. From Bukayo Saka's moments of evolution to the secret recipe from our corners, a Kai Havertz masterclass, and a massive update on the title race. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Tottenham 2, Arsenal 3. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Baz14, welcome back to your boys channel, and it was sensational scenes at the Tottenham Hotspur toilet as Arsenal made it 2 wins in 2 years. So as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But starting off with the Arsenal menace. In yet another game where Arsenal showed their set piece excellence, scoring the opening goal from a corner, then making it 3 from similar. Arsenal have now scored 16 set piece goals this season, equaling the all-time record for the most, set by West Brom under Tony Pulis. With Gary Neville talking about the Arsenal set piece coach Nicolas Jova, he's a little nuisance at set piece coach, but he's very good. Calling him a nuisance is not right though. Jova is an elite coach that Arsenal have poached from Man City, who has transformed Arsenal into the set piece team in Europe. But if we're going to talk about nuisances, there is one in the Arsenal team, and his name is Benjamin White, who dropped a 6.9 rating in another North London derby win, with a total of 6 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception and 3 tackles. His rolls from corners cannot be looked past. From pinching Bukayo for the first goal, blocking his pathways, Højbjerg scored an own goal, to doing the same again for the Arsenal third, finding a way to get in Bukayo's face, ensuring that Havertz gets a free header. This is becoming trademark Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, using whatever it takes to get over the line. Mikel Arteta always talks about White's desire to win. Slowly but surely he's developing into one of the best decoys in the league. But as great as Arsenal at scoring set pieces, we're also not bad defensively. The example being the Van de Ven disallowed goal. Spurs applying the pressure and Arsenal holding on to their lead. A pop shot from Porro ends up finding his way through, and even though Van de Ven scores, a slight offside cuts the goal off. Now many may see that as a bit of a fluke, Arsenal getting away with it on the finest margins, but in actual fact it's a result of training. Hours and hours of drilling the team to clear the box, all in unison to catch the other team's offside. This was another stand-up performance from Gabriel Magalhaes, given the official Premier League Player of the Match award, a 6.5 rating with 4 clearances, 2 interceptions and 1 tackle. Here he was after the game celebrating in the Arsenal dressing room, and what you'll notice in the background is a banner, put there by Mikel Arteta with the word basics, with S standing for shape, I for intensity, C for compete and S for set pieces. I don't know what B and A stand for, but what I'll say is these are the non-negotiables. The fine margins that Mikel Arteta and his coaching teams find give Arsenal advantages that other teams don't get, taking us to a level that we've always wanted to be at. Think about the late days under Arsene Wenger. The amount of complaining Arsenal fans about set pieces and lack of organisation. Arsenal have now become the opposite, arguably the most organised team in Europe. A massive shout out to Gabriel Martinelli, coming off the bench with Spurs applying the pressure and putting in a proper defensive shift, massively helping a struggling Takehiro Tomiyasu. Moving on to the second thing, adaptable Arteta. In a game where Arsenal made it 9 games unbeaten against the Big Six, our away form looks imperious, with 7 wins out of 8 in 2024, remaining undefeated. This game was far from simple, with Spurs given 2 weeks before this game to train, not a single game minute to allow them to fully rest. The stats sum things up, with Spurs having a whopping 2.73 XG, Arsenal 1.28. Spurs actually had 62% of the possession. They entered the final third a lot more times, and even had a higher expected threat created. The more shocking news is the fact they also won on the field tilt, beating Arsenal with 65%. Those stats for me are not a surprise though, with the amount of time that Spurs were given to plan for this game. With Arsenal playing 4 intense games since, they were always going to have the physical edge. That's why Mikel Arteta had to change something, playing a style of football that was more pragmatic. Sit deeper, allow Spurs to have the ball, and rely on our individual quality to play out of it. Summed up by our Ghanaian star Thomas Partey, who dropping a 7.2 rating, completing 93% of his passes, with 4 accurate long balls, 2 successful dribbles and 5 ground balls won. For only the second time this year, Thomas Partey completed 90 minutes for Arsenal, misplacing only 3 passes all game. The reason Arteta started him over Jorginho was summed up in the 43rd minute. Surrounded by Spurs players pressing into him, Partey showed elite levels of composure to play out and find Martin Odegaard. That's what makes Thomas Partey a unique profile, a number 6 that's a natural risk taker, which of course doesn't always work out, but when it does, Arsenal are in business. As Mikel Arteta says, Partey is a really important player and we missed him for many months. He looks in great shape. It's his presence, his quality and his physicality and his experience. But in a game where Arsenal were clearly struggling, they done something that Mikel Arteta has always called for: win the games inside the boxes. Allowing Spurs the ball outside the box, but defensively secure enough to hold on, with a clinical attack to punish. We are now in the busiest end of the season, performances go out of the window. It's all about the results. The example being Man City, beating Forest in an important 2-0 victory, despite having an XG of 2.7 against. Arsenal are going gun for gun with robots, who even when they malfunction find a way to get over the line. Look at our record in April though. Won 5, drawn 0 and lost 1, scored 15 and conceded 4. The narrative about but always no more. When you look at Liverpool and the way they've collapsed, unable to bounce back after defeats, look at the way this Arsenal team responded. Winning 3 games in a row after a defeat to Aston Villa. That's an evolution in character. Moving on to the third thing, bad boy Bukayo. The Arsenal star boy that thrives in North London. The only academy player on the pitch. Let's just say this was a masterclass. With Saka dropping an 8.2 rating with 1 goal scored, 2 successful dribbles and 11 ground balls won. Bukayo now makes it 19 goals for the season, 15 inside the Premier League with 14 assists in total. And more importantly, look at his big game record. 8 games against the Big Six with 3 goals and 3 assists. Undefeated in all. We have to talk about the touch in that first goal. As great as Havertz's pass was, watch the way Saka kills the ball, takes it in his stride and goes on to score a goal. If Phil Foden does that, people rave about it. But Saka's been held to a different standard, now reaching a new level of arrogance. Watching the way he celebrated in front of Spurs fans, cupping his ears and letting the people know, Mr. Nice Guy is no more, I am a top player now, and I am gonna hurt your teams. What's even funnier is a response to the first Arsenal goal, taking the corner that led to the own goal, with Spurs fans saying you let your country down. Saka responds with cupping his ears again. In a game that he also made 5 tackles, there is no star winger in world football that works as hard as Bukayo, but is also able to impact consistently in the final third. The top scorer in a team that has the most goals in the league. This was a coming of age game for Bukayo, scoring a goal in a title decisive game, quieting your rival fans in the process, then ending the game as Arsenal captain, leading his side to the Arsenal fans to celebrate. The pure definition of sensational scenes. As Saka says, North London is ours, always and forever the Arsenal. But the star of the show was someone else, a player that many fans have doubted over the course of the season. Rivals have laughed at. There's only one man laughing now, and his name is Kai Havertz, the official Arsenal player of the match, who dropped an 8.3 rating in Arsenal's biggest game of the season. 1 goal and 1 assist, 20 accurate passes and 1 big chance created, not to mention a whopping 8 aerial duels won. That is the 4th time this year now Havertz has got a goal and assist in the same league game, the most by any Arsenal player in a single season since Alexis Sanchez in 16-17. 27 league starts with 12 goals and 6 assists. No player in the league has more goals and assists with fewer starts than him. This performance left me wowed, finding ways to make something out of nothing, flicking it over Spurs players and holding the ball up, alongside an elite assist that shows confidence. It's a pass that he wouldn't even tried early in the season. A lack of confidence and a lack of belief no more. Havertz has truly arrived as an Arsenal player, showing the passion and pushing away James Maddison. He's also a little bit of a comedian, posting this video after the game on his Twitter account, with a caption of mood. That's now 11 non-penalty goals for the season. The same amount as Cole Palmer, a player many believe has been up there with the very best this season. But what I love the most is his composure, perfectly summed up by a former Thomas Tuchel quote, who says, "I see a bit of Dennis Bergkamp, Robert van Persie and Dimitar Berbatov kind of player. He can play in the half position because he makes good runs, but he's also free from the 9 and creates overloads on one side." There's a belief growing now in the Arsenal fan base. Havertz up front is not just an experiment, but at 24 years of age working under Mikel Arteta, there's real potential for something special. Maybe even altering Arsenal summer plans. Moving on to the full thing, Raya's response. In a game that Arsenal are cruising 3-0 up at half time, the Spurs stadium starting to empty and Arsenal fans dominating. In the 64th minute, David Raya chose to spice things up. An awful error to find Romero, putting Spurs back into the game, making it the first goal that Arsenal conceded in 7 away games. In total, Raya had a 6.0 rating, with a minus 6.8 goals prevented, alongside 3 high claims and 1 error led to a goal. But after the game, the scene was beautiful. Arteta going over to Raya to give him a massive hug, saying, "What I love is David does that mistake," and then he was sensational for the last 20 minutes of the game. The character and balls to bounce back in a massive game, claiming cross after cross to calm the Arsenal team down, spraying balls forwards to find Gabriel Martinelli. That's a level of composure we didn't have last season. Mistakes are a part of football, but with the score at 3-2, it's about how you respond. Can you handle the pressure and stick to your game? As Arteta says, we are lucky to have David, because he made an individual error, but after the way he played was outstanding. He said, "I own this moment and I'm going to make a step forward," and he was magnificent. But Raya wasn't the only Arsenal player to make a mistake. With the clock ticking towards the 80th minute, Declan Rice gave away a penalty. An honest mistake that was nearly costly. Rice still dropped a 7.4 rating, with 57 touches, 30 accurate passes and 2 big chances created, alongside another corner assist. That now makes it 7 Premier League assists for the season, the same amount as Bruno Fernandes, Phil Foden and James Maddison. With Rice posting after the game, North London is red. a picture of pure passion and celebration. Seeing the way he's thriving as a number 8 makes you ask the question, what are Arsenal going to do in the summer? Sign in number 6 to keep Rice up there, or sign a number 8 to move Rice back? In a game that Arsenal made 2 mistakes that weren't costly, ultimately I'm not too concerned. The nature of the goals are rare. This Arsenal team has shown this season, mistakes are not common. Moving on to the 5th thing, a new Arsenal. With beautiful scenes after the game as the Arsenal players ran over to the Arsenal fans. A moment to soak in that nearly brought tears to eyes. It could have been so different. As Youngman scored his penalty to make it 3-2. This was Mikel Arteta's reaction, pointing to his head and telling the players to calm down, because they went through the experience last season. 2-0 up against Liverpool and bottling it. Likewise the case against West Ham. This was Arsenal taking a step forward. Despite making things difficult, they showed now they can survive, hold on to leads and get over the line, even when they don't play amazing. Arsenal have now won back-to-back away North London derbies for the first time in 36 years, a feat not even achieved under Arsene Wenger. And talking of the great Arsene, Mikel has gone one step further, becoming the fastest ever Arsenal manager to reach 100 league wins in just 169 matches, 5th in all time only behind Sir Alex Ferguson, Jurgen Klopp, Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. To be in the category of all-time great managers is no mean feat, an example of Mikel Arteta not being an ordinary coach. He also becomes the 6th ever Premier League manager to earn 80 points in consecutive Premier League seasons. There is no denying this Arsenal team has reached a new level, in a league where they have now scored the most goals, conceding the fewest to the highest goal difference, the most clean sheets and undefeated against the Big Six. According to the XG, we still only have a 30% chance of winning the league title, with the Robots in Manchester still being the favourites. That is because despite Arsenal beating Spurs, City somehow beat Forest 2-0, in a game where Chris Wood was almost match fixing, missing sitter after sitter. The table stands still in Arsenal's favour, top of the league with 80 points, a point ahead of City who've got 1 game in hand. With this being Arsenal's remaining fixtures, Bournemouth at home, United away and Everton at home. Even if we win all 3, it's not in our hands. But the Robots in Manchester aren't flawless. Watching them play against Nottingham Forest is definitely a sense of defensive vulnerability, and with their game in hand being in North London, against our little bros and Ange Postecoglou, it's a ground where Pep Guardiola's always struggled. May 14th, 2024, Spurs fighting for top 4 needing a win, could, if things go to plan, ironically give Arsenal a Premier League title. The script writers are cooking something special. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Spurs 2, Arsenal 3. And North London may be red, but come the end of the season, will the Premier League title be? We're going to find out very soon, so I will see you next time. Take care.